What's going on, guys? Smokey, back at it again with episode 2 of the Motovlog. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning, and I had some things on my mind, and kind of want to share them with you guys today. So let's get into it. So, I've had a lot of things on my mind lately. Things about other people. Things about myself that I've noticed. Just general observations that I've made. Figured I'd come over here and share this with you guys, because I feel like I've got a lot of valuable, what could be valuable insight. Talk about some different ways that things could be thought about that people haven't considered yet. One of those things is gratefulness. And being grateful for the situation that you are in. I've been finding myself, honestly, kind of bored with life lately. I've been sitting around the house thinking, you know, man, there's nothing going on. I'm just sitting here, I'm scrolling, which is honestly probably not the best use of someone's time. But I'll just be sitting there scrolling, you know, thinking, man, I really wish I had something to do. Which lately I've been filling that time with motovlogging videos, so it's been a little bit easier. But today I had a thought, and that thought was, you should be thankful that you're bored. You should be thankful and grateful that you have the opportunity to sit around and do absolutely nothing with your time. That is not how the world works for everybody. There are people who don't have time to sit down. There are people who don't have time to sit and scroll through YouTube, through TikTok, Facebook, whatever, any social media. They don't have that luxury to just sit around and do nothing. A lot of that is lifestyle choices for a lot of people, but for some people, it's not a lifestyle choice. It's literally the life they were given. They're born into a bad situation. They're born in countries where, you know, it's just not something that they're allowed to do, to sit around and do nothing. They're forced into doing things that they don't want to do. They pick up generational obligations, and if they sit still too long, they'll starve. They'll either starve, or someone will take liberties away from them for not being for not producing enough value. People will take away from them. I'm talking about people who just do not have the time, they do not have the luxury, but a lot of us do. A lot of us do have that luxury. And next time you find yourself bored, out of your mind, thinking this sucks, it might be helpful to think about the fact that there are people who don't have that option to sit and be bored. Next, mindfulness of what you're doing. Thinking before acting. I'm sure we've all heard that in our lives before. Thinking before reacting, thinking before making decisions. Just considering the people around us and how our actions will affect those people before we perform those actions. Not feeling bad later for what we did or thinking after the fact about what we did, but just taking the time prior to doing things and considering the people around us before we actually perform these actions. Because you may not realize, but I won't say every, but almost every single thing that you do has an impact, whether positive or negative, on the people either in your immediate area or, on the other side of the world. We got to think about everything that comes out of us in the world that we live in. That can travel across the world in an instant. And I'm talking social media, phone calls, text messages. Once a thought or idea or slander or anything like that leaves your body in one way or another, whether it be through voice or physical interaction with someone, it immediately affects the people around us. And we have the option to take a minute and think about those actions before we do them. And I've been thinking about this about myself lately, because I found myself doing things and feeling bad about them later. I found myself thinking about things that I know I shouldn't do and doing them anyway, and then immediately regretting it. A lot of these things are truly hurtful to people, whether we realize they are or not, but we do them anyway when we have the option to not. And my hot take on that is that everyone could stand to be a little more mindful of their actions prior to performing them. I feel like a little bit of selflessness is needed in the world, especially nowadays where you don't really find a whole lot of politeness in conversation. There are very special people in the world who are always polite, but they're few and far in between these days, and I feel like we should be spreading happiness and joy throughout the world. That's my opinion. And this kind of segues off of what I was just talking about, but the next talking point I have here is mindful thinking and right speech. On mindful thinking, I found myself lately having hateful, just awful thoughts about people and just judging and, just thinking, terrible things about people around me. I don't know their situations. I don't know. These are just random people I see in parking lots and lines at stores. And I just, out of nowhere, have these terrible thoughts about these poor people that I know nothing about. And they've done nothing to me to deserve this type of thinking, or this type of opinion that I'm giving about them. And it makes me feel like an awful, terrible person immediately after the fact. So I feel like I've been doing these people an injustice, and they don't deserve it. I'm sure there are other people in the world that do the same thing, that feel the same way, that may or may not feel bad for what they've done or what they've thought. You could change your entire outlook on life and position in life just by being more aware of the things that you're thinking. And you can restructure your mind in a way that you don't have these awful thoughts about people for no reason. A lot of that stuff is indoctrinated into us through social media, through different online platforms where people just sit around and judge each other all day with no real right to do so. We just think and say and do terrible things to people for no reason these days, and I feel like it's unjustified. And I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to personally take steps to ensure that I don't do that anymore, because these poor people do not deserve this type of behavior from me. Mindfulness is a huge part of right speech. I'm sure each of you have phrases or different memories of things that people have said to you, if you're old enough, 10, 15 years ago, that still stick with you today. And when you hear them, it gives you just a terrible feeling inside your body. When you hear either a word or a phrase or a certain way somebody says something, it gives you an absolutely awful feeling inside yourself, because a person said something to you similar and it stuck with you for the rest of your life and has completely ruined a word or phrase for you. And so you can take that and apply it to yourself and realize that everything that you say has a similar effect on people, whether it be positive or negative. It just has the power to stay with people for their entire lives. You know, you could say something nice to somebody and then you can compliment somebody's eyes or their hair. Somebody who hates their eyes or their hair or their face or anything like that, you can say something about them and that can completely change their entire opinion of that part of themselves forever. Someone who hates themselves, you may say something nice and it changes their life. That's from then on, whenever they think about that aspect of themselves, they love it. They love that about themselves. They think about the time that this random person complimented that part of them, and now they no longer hate that because they have validation, which you shouldn't need validation to love yourself, but some people are not fortunate like that, and they have things, insecurities that they deal with, and you can literally cure them of that just from being nice. Similarly, you can completely destroy somebody's opinion about themselves in one way or another for the rest of their lives by saying something negative about them, and you will. Some people say that they don't care what people say about them. They don't care what everybody else is going on. They're worried about them. They're doing them, and they're not studying anybody else. But it's just not true, guys. You will remember. A person will remember negative things said about them and carry it with them through their entire life and just have a sour feeling. And we have the ability to not be the person who does that to somebody else and ruins some aspect of their life forever. There are things that I've said, that I've done to people, I feel regret for every day of my life. There's nothing I can do because it's already done, and because I know that I can't undo what I've said or done. That person has that with them for the rest of forever, and I feel terrible. So being aware of your ability to be a ball of sunshine in somebody's life and make them happy and carry something positive with them for the rest of forever, or having the ability to completely destroy them, or at least some aspect of their life. Just remember that you have the power to do that, And I'm going to choose to be the ball of sunshine, to be the reason someone laughs or smiles or giggles a little bit every time they think about something I said or did. That's going to be the guy that I choose to be. I hope that the things that I've said in this video have really struck home with some people or anybody at all. I hope that it was helpful. If you did like the things that I talked about, please comment about them in the comments below. Let me know what you think specifically about different topics. I'll always answer back. You know, I'd really like to know other people's opinions on these subjects, and if they have opinions that contradict mine, why, and then we can talk about it. You know, maybe I can see your side of things and we can come to an agreement and help each other understand. I think that would be great. I think that's what we need more of in the world. But anyway, I think that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope to see you in the next episode.